Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today into a book I think a lot of you will relate to, Finish What You Start by Peter Hollins.
Oh, this is a good one.
I mean, who hasn't started something all gung-ho and then...
Poof. The motivation vanishes.
Like, remember that project you were so excited about?
Yeah. The one that was going to change everything.
Maybe you wanted to launch a business, like Esther in the book.
Oh, yeah, Esther. She had this dream of opening a bakery, but...
Life happened. Or maybe it was something else.
Hollins kicks off the book with his own story, actually. He started this super intricate canoe carving project.
Oh, wow.
Then Star Wars came out and other things popped up. The canoe just sat there.
Like a monument to good intentions.
Exactly. And that's what makes this deep dive so relatable. We're going deep into the psychology of why we struggle to finish things.
And more importantly, what we can do about it.
Yeah.
This isn't just another self-help pep talk.
Right. Hollins gives us actionable insights. He breaks down following through into 4 key components: focus, self-discipline, action, and persistence.
4 components.
He compares it to a giant robot like Voltron.
Okay, I'm listening.
Each part is vital to the whole.
So focus is like the head of the robot directing everything.
Yeah, making sure you're moving in the right direction. And self-discipline is the spine.
The structure holding it all together.
It's what takes you from thinking about doing something to actually doing it.
Even when there are a million distractions.
Exactly. Remember Esther and her baking business?
Yeah, she really wanted it.
She had the desire, but turning that into consistent action,
Yeah.
that's where she struggled.
Because she lacked that self-discipline piece.
Exactly.
Okay, but here's the thing. Even if we're focused and disciplined, sometimes we still get in our own way.
Oh, absolutely. We sabotage ourselves without even realizing it.
And the book calls those inhibiting tactics.
Those sneaky ways we trip ourselves up, like setting bad goals, for example.
Goals.
Goals that are too vague or straight up impossible.
Oh, right.
Like when people say they want to be healthier but don't have any concrete plan,
Yeah.
you're setting yourself up for failure from the start. Then there's procrastination.
Procrastination. My specialty.
But disguised as being productive.
Oh, that's me. Endless planning, researching, anything but actually doing the work.
Right.
So what does Hollins say about distractions? How do we actually handle them? They're everywhere.
Well, he doesn't just say avoid them.
Because that never works.
Right. He talks about strategic avoidance and healthy, moderate use.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So logging out of social media while you're working, that's strategic.
Makes sense.
And then you have timed breaks as rewards.
So you're not depriving yourself.
Exactly. That taps into that instant gratification we all crave.
It's like finding a balance, right?
Yeah.
Not trying to be a robot who never takes a break.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. But what about those times when it's not just distractions, it's something deeper?
Deeper.
Like when we feel lazy or undisciplined.
I see.
What does Hollins say about that?
He has an interesting take on it. He reframes those feelings not as personal failings, but as a lack of willpower and discipline.
Okay.
Willpower is the energy to act, and discipline is the focus to direct that energy.
So it's less about judging ourselves and more about
Understanding what's going on beneath the surface.
that's a huge shift in perspective. So instead of beating ourselves up for feeling lazy, we can focus on
Building those willpower muscles.
Exactly.
And then, of course, there's fear, which can show up in so many different ways.
Oh, yeah. Fear is a big one.
Remember Esther, terrified of what people would think about her baking?
She just wanted to bake.
Or Lara, another character in the book, completely frozen by the fear of failure.
We've all been there. I think everyone has experienced that fear at some point.
Right.
And speaking of things that hold us back, there's perfectionism. That pressure to get everything just right.
Oh, yeah, that can be crippling.
To the point where you're afraid to even start.
You can't finish what you don't begin.
Exactly. And finally, there's the question of self-awareness. Do you really know what's holding you back?
That's a tough one.
It's easy to blame external factors.
But often, it's something internal.
And that brings us to motivation.
Motivation?
The book talks about 2 main types, external and internal.
Okay, let's break those down.
So, external motivators are things outside of ourselves that push us to act.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like having an accountability buddy who'll call you out if you slack off.
Oh, that's social pressure.
Or putting money down up front so quitting actually costs you something.
Interesting. Makes it more real.
And then there's the fun one, self-bribery.
Rewarding yourself for completing tasks. I love that one.
But internal motivators, Those are different. It's about understanding your why.
Your why.
Why does this goal matter to you beyond any external pressure?
I see. Getting to the heart of it.
How will achieving this goal make your life better?
Right. What's the deeper purpose?
What positive feelings will it bring?
Powerful stuff.
But even with all the motivation in the world, we need some structure.
Right. Structure.
That's where Hollins introduces the concept of systems.
Oh, systems are key.
But before we get into the specifics of systems,
Yes.
can we talk about what systems actually are?
Yeah, good point. I think a lot of people misunderstand that.
Why they're so important?
Absolutely. It's a crucial distinction that Hollins makes.
Okay.
He contrasts systems with goals.
Okay.
Goals are like the destination, while systems are the roads that get you there.
I like that.
And he uses the story of Ned, an overwhelmed consultant.
Poor Ned. What happened?
Ned is drowning in work, neglecting his health. Ultimately, his business starts to suffer.
Ah, that's rough.
Classic burnout scenario.
But he didn't have to end up that way.
No. If Ned had systems in place.
He could have avoided all that.
Exactly.
Okay, so systems are like the guardrails that keep us on track and prevent burnout.
That's a great way to put it.
So what kinds of systems are we talking about here?
Hollins outlines 3 main types: scoreboards, time management, and lowering transaction costs.
Scoreboards, okay.
Like keeping track of our progress, celebrating small wins.
I love that, like a visual reminder of how far you've come.
Exactly.
That can be super motivating.
And then there's time management, which is about creating structure in your day.
Structure.
Setting routines, realistic deadlines, minimizing distractions.
Right. Being intentional with your time.
Exactly.
But what about this lowering transaction costs thing? That's a new one for me.
Oh, it sounds technical, but it's actually quite simple.
Okay.
It's about making good habits easy and bad habits expensive.
Interesting. Give me an example.
Let's say you want to eat healthier.
Okay.
Make sure your fridge is stocked with healthy snacks.
So they're readily available.
Exactly.
Makes sense. So you're not tempted to reach for the junk food.
Right. Or like putting your gym bag by the door so you don't forget it.
Oh, I like that. It's about removing those little barriers.
Exactly.
Those little things that can derail our best intentions. Okay, so we've talked about focus, self-discipline, motivation, and now systems.
We've covered a lot.
We've explored those sneaky inhibiting tactics, those psychological roadblocks that can sabotage our efforts.
It's all connected.
But I have a feeling there's a lot more to uncover when it comes to actually putting these ideas into practice.
Oh, you're absolutely right. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
There's a whole treasure trove of actionable strategies waiting to be explored.
Stay tuned. As we delve deeper into this whole finishing what you start thing, it's clear that systems are super important.
Right.
But there's this other layer we need to talk about, the mindset piece.
Ooh, the mindset. I love that he addresses this in the book.
He dedicates a whole chapter to it, packed with insights.
Because it's like having all the right tools,
right,
but not knowing how to use them.
Exactly. That's where the right mindset comes in.
So what are some of those mental frameworks that Hollins highlights?
Well, the first one that really resonated with me, it's about finding genuine value and meaning in the work itself.
Interesting. Not just focusing on the end result.
Right. It's about believing that your efforts are worthwhile even before you see those big results.
It's about the journey, not just the destination.
Exactly. Like, think about it this way.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like you didn't quite fit in?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Or doubted your abilities?
Ugh, all the time.
Hollins really emphasizes this idea of belonging, of truly believing you have the skills to succeed. It's crucial for staying motivated.
It makes sense. Like, if you don't believe in yourself,
right,
why would anyone else?
It's like when you're working on a team.
Yeah.
And everyone feels valued, everyone feels competent.
You can achieve amazing things.
Exactly. There's a synergy that happens.
So it's not just about believing in the project.
Right.
It's about believing in yourself.
Exactly.
Okay, I love that. What's the next mindset shift?
This one might sound a bit counterintuitive, but it's about getting comfortable with discomfort.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right.
Because true growth
rarely happens in our comfort zones.
I've heard that before, but it's easier said than done. How do you actually get comfortable with being uncomfortable?
It's definitely a process. Hollins encourages us to reframe discomfort, not as something to be avoided, but as a signpost.
A signpost.
Yeah, a sign that we're on the right track.
Oh, I like that.
It's about gradually pushing yourself, trying new things, taking on challenges that stretch your limits.
So it's like building mental resilience.
Exactly. That muscle that helps you bounce back from setbacks, keeps you going when things get tough.
Love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next mindset shift?
The third one Hollins talks about is embracing learning and evaluation.
Learning and evaluation. Okay.
Every experience, even the so-called failures, is an opportunity to gather information.
And refine your approach. It's like that fail-forward mentality.
Exactly. Viewing setbacks not as defeats, but as feedback.
What can I learn from this?
Right.
Instead of, why does this always happen to me?
Exactly. Adopting a growth mindset. Recognizing that the path to success is rarely a straight line.
Lots of twists and turns.
Exactly. And through those challenges, that's how we truly learn and grow. But here's the thing. Even with the right mindset, even with a solid plan,
we can still get derailed.
By stress.
Oh, tell me about it. Stress is like the ultimate productivity killer.
Drains your energy, makes you question everything.
And before you know it,
Yeah.
you're hiding under the covers with a bag of chips, binge-watching reality TV.
Been there.
Not that I've ever done that.
We've all been there. And that's why this next mindset shift is so important.
Okay.
Managing stress and protecting your mental energy, Hollins really emphasizes how detrimental stress is to willpower and self-control.
Oh, yeah. When you're stressed out.
It's like your brain goes into survival mode.
All those good intentions fly out the window.
Exactly. And that's why it's so crucial to incorporate relaxation techniques.
Right. Take breaks.
Set boundaries to protect your time and energy.
And cultivate mindfulness.
Yes. To stay present, stay grounded.
This is where I think self-care becomes so important.
Self-care.
It's not selfish, it's essential.
It's true.
Taking care of your mental and emotional well-being, that's what gives you the energy to pursue your goals.
It's the foundation.
Okay, so we've covered 4 powerful mindsets.
Yes.
Believing in the value of your efforts, getting comfortable with discomfort,
Right.
embracing learning and evaluation, and managing stress.
Those are the pillars.
These are like the foundational pillars that support everything else.
Exactly. It's an impressive framework for understanding how our thoughts and beliefs influence our ability to follow through.
But here's the thing. Even with the right mindset and a clear plan,
There are still those pesky pitfalls.
that can trip us up along the way.
Absolutely. And what I appreciate about Hollins is that he doesn't shy away from these challenges. He dedicates a whole section to identifying those common pitfalls and providing specific tactics for overcoming them.
Okay, let's dive into those pitfalls. What's the first one he highlights?
He calls it false hope syndrome.
False hope.
Basically, it's setting unrealistic expectations for ourselves.
Oh, right. Like thinking it's all going to be easy and effortless.
Exactly. We get caught up in the excitement of a new goal,
Yeah.
imagining ourselves just gliding towards success.
And then reality hits.
Hard. We encounter obstacles, our motivation wanes.
Doubt creeps in.
Yep. He uses this example of Michael,
Michael.
who starts a freelance consulting firm with dreams of overnight success.
The classic entrepreneur fantasy.
Tons of free time, making a fortune, achieving all his personal goals.
Sounds familiar.
But of course, life has other plans for Michael.
Uh-oh. What happens?
The demands of running his own business quickly overwhelm him.
Oh, no.
Those unrealistic expectations lead to disappointment.
Yeah.
And he starts spiraling. Procrastination, self-doubt.
It's a classic case of setting the bar too high.
Exactly. And that can sabotage our efforts.
So it's not about aiming low.
No, not at all.
But about being realistic about what's achievable.
Right. Setting challenging yet attainable goals.
So you can experience those small wins that keep you motivated.
Exactly. And that brings us to the next pitfall. Overthinking. Overthinking. I know that one well.
We analyze every detail, endlessly weigh options,
Research every possible scenario.
and we end up stuck. Analysis paralysis.
It's like standing in the cereal aisle at the supermarket.
Oh, yeah.
Staring at 50 different boxes.
Too many choices.
Completely overwhelmed
And you end up walking out with nothing.
because you couldn't make a decision.
The printer example in the book really resonated with me. You're at Walmart,
Okay.
staring at this wall of printers,
Oh, yeah.
each one with a million different features.
It's the paradox of choice.
Too many options. Makes it harder to choose.
So how do we break free from this overthinking trap?
Hollins suggests setting clear criteria.
Criteria.
Focusing on the essential features you need,
Okay.
and then just make a decision.
Don't get bogged down in the details.
Exactly. He also talks about limiting your options.
Less is more.
Sometimes having fewer choices makes it easier to decide.
I can see that. It's about simplifying the process.
Exactly. Focus on what truly matters. Don't let those little details derail you.
Okay, what's the next pitfall we need to watch out for?
Worry. It's like the mental equivalent of overthinking.
Oh, worry. That's a big one for me.
We ruminate on problems.
Both real and imagined.
Yes. We dwell on negative scenarios that might never even happen.
And the worst part is worry often feels like productivity. Like, I'm just being responsible by anticipating problems.
Right. But in reality...
You're just stressing yourself out.
Exactly. And it often focuses on things outside of our control. The past, the future.
All those what-if scenarios.
That keep us up at night, but don't actually solve anything.
So how do we break free from this worry cycle? Hollins' advice is simple but profound.
Okay, I'm listening.
Shift your focus to the present moment,
The present moment.
to the things you can actually influence.
All right, take action.
Instead of getting stuck in a loop of anxious thoughts. Cultivate a solution-oriented mindset.
Okay.
Focus on finding ways to address problems, not just dwelling on them.
It's about taking back control.
Yes.
Focusing our energy on what we can actually do something about.
Exactly.
Okay, I love that. Now, there's one more pitfall that Hollins mentions.
Okay.
It might seem obvious,
What is it?
but it's often overlooked. The importance of knowing yourself,
Yes. Understanding your strengths,
your weaknesses,
your preferences.
and tailoring your approach accordingly.
You can't just blindly follow someone else's system.
Exactly. What works for one person might not work for another.
Hollins uses the example of trying to force yourself to work according to someone else's schedule,
Right.
or in an environment that doesn't suit your needs.
It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole,
Exactly.
or trying to make a cat do yoga.
It's just not going to happen.
So it's about being honest with yourself.
Recognizing those patterns of behavior,
That might be sabotaging your efforts,
and then finding a way to work with yourself.
not against yourself.
Exactly.
And that brings us back to that question Hollins posed earlier.
Which one?
Do you really know what's holding you back?
Yes. That's a powerful one.
It's a reminder that the journey to finishing what you start begins with
Self-discovery.
understanding your motivations, your strengths, your weaknesses,
And then creating a plan that aligns with who you are.
and what you want to achieve.
And that's what this book does so brilliantly.
Yeah.
It provides the framework
Of the strategies, the insights,
to support that journey of self-discovery.
and empower you to create lasting change.
Exactly. It's like a roadmap to finishing what you start.
I'm feeling ready to hit the road.
Me too. But before we set off on our journey,
Yes?
there's one more crucial piece of the puzzle we need to discuss.
Okay, lay it on me.
Daily systems.
Ah, yes. This is where the rubber meets the road. Where we take all these insights and translate them into actionable habits and routines.
Exactly. And this is where Hollins really gets into the nitty-gritty
Okay.
of creating structures that support consistent action.
Because, as we've established, willpower alone isn't enough.
Nope.
We need systems to reduce our reliance on that fickle friend.
You got it. It's about creating habits and routines that make it easier to do the things that move us closer to our goals.
Even when we don't feel like it.
Exactly. Remember Ned, that overwhelmed consultant?
Oh yeah, poor Ned. He tried to power through everything on willpower alone.
And crashed and burned.
Burnout City.
And Hollins uses Ned's story to contrast that with the power of systems.
Okay.
Systems that streamline your work and reduce that cognitive load.
So it's not just about working harder.
No.
It's about working smarter.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond goals,
Right.
which are often these one-time achievements, and focusing on building systems.
Systems that support consistent progress.
Yes. And when it comes to daily systems,
Yeah.
Hollins outlines 3 key areas.
3 key areas.
Scoreboards,
Okay.
time management,
Uh-huh.
and lowering transaction costs.
Okay, let's break those down. Scoreboards.
Okay.
I'm guessing that's about tracking our progress, celebrating those small wins.
You got it. It's about creating a sense of momentum,
Right.
acknowledging your accomplishments.
Give yourself credit.
Exactly. It's so easy to get caught up in that what's next mentality
Oh, yeah.
and forget to celebrate those little victories along the way.
It's so important.
It's about staying motivated and engaged in the process,
Right.
not just fixated on the end goal.
Okay, what about time management? What kind of systems does Hollins suggest for that?
Well, he talks about structuring your day to maximize your productivity
Okay.
and minimize distractions.
Minimize distractions, yes.
Setting routines, establishing clear deadlines.
Right. Being intentional with your time.
Exactly.
I've found that having a morning routine is super helpful
Oh, yeah.
for setting the tone for the day. But what does Hollins say about those times
Yes.
when you just can't seem to focus?
Yes. We've all been there.
Like when your brain feels scattered
Right. Jumping from task to task.
and not really accomplishing anything?
He addresses that directly. He talks about the importance of understanding your natural rhythms,
Or natural.
your preferences,
Okay.
and scheduling your most important tasks
Yeah.
for those times when you're most focused and energized.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
You're right.
I'm definitely a morning person, trying to do my most creative work late at night.
It's a recipe for disaster.
A total disaster.
It's not just about the time of day either. It's also about understanding your work style.
My work style.
Do you prefer to work in short bursts or longer stretches?
Right?
Do you need complete silence? Or do you thrive in a more bustling environment?
It's about knowing yourself
Yes,
and creating a system that supports your unique needs.
exactly. And then, of course, there's the ever-present challenge
Yeah.
of distractions.
Distractions. Ugh, they're everywhere.
Hollins suggests creating a no-distraction zone,
Ooh, a no distraction zone.
a dedicated space where you can focus on deep work, no interruptions.
I love that. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy.
No,
It could just be turning off notifications,
right.
putting your phone on silent,
Finding a quiet spot in the library.
or a coffee shop.
Exactly. It's about creating that physical,
And mental space.
yes,
Yeah.
that supports your focus and minimizes interruptions.
He also talks about using tools like website blockers
Oh, yes. Those are great.
and noise-canceling headphones
Yeah.
to create that more focused environment.
Right. And then there's the strategy of batching similar tasks together.
Batching.
Yeah, it can help streamline your workflow
Okay.
and reduce the mental effort of switching between different types of work.
So instead of constantly checking email throughout the day.
Right. You set aside a specific time to process all your messages.
Oh, like that.
Or you schedule all your meetings for one afternoon.
So you have those uninterrupted blocks of time.
Exactly. For focused work, it's about finding ways to group similar activities.
To minimize context switching, and
maximize efficiency.
I'm starting to see how these systems can really make a difference.
They're powerful tools.
It's not about becoming a robot.
No.
It's about creating a structure,
That supports your best work.
and it helps you stay on track.
Exactly.
But what about those days
Yes. Those days when
you're just feeling drained?
yes, burned out.
No matter how well structured your system is,
That's where the concept of managing your energy levels comes in.
managing our energy.
Okay. Hollins suggests scheduling regular breaks throughout the day to rest,
Take a breather.
recharge. He also emphasizes the importance of getting enough sleep,
Sleep. So important.
eating nutritious foods,
Fueling your body.
and incorporating movement into your day, even just a little bit.
Okay, so this is where self-care and productivity really intersect.
To go hand in hand.
It's about recognizing that.
Yeah,
Our mental and physical energy,
right.
they're finite resources.
And we need to be intentional about managing them
if we want to sustain our efforts.
and avoid burnout.
Exactly. And it's not just about taking care of yourself so you can be more productive.
Right. It's deeper than that.
It's about taking care of yourself because
Yes,
you deserve to feel good
you deserve it.
and function at your best.
Exactly.
I love that. It's about shifting from a mindset,
From
self-sacrifice,
right,
to one of self-care.
a much healthier approach.
And that shift in perspective can make all the difference.
In your ability to not only achieve your goals,
Right.
but also enjoy the journey along the way.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground here, from understanding the importance of systems
Yeah,
to identifying those sneaky pitfalls
right.
that can trip us up.
It's a lot to take in.
But I have a feeling there's still more to uncover in this deep dive.
Oh, you're right. We've laid the groundwork.
Okay.
But there are still some gems waiting to be discovered.
Ooh, gee.
And that's where we'll pick up in the next segment.
So, stay tuned, because we're about to explore the final piece of this puzzle.
The finishing touches, if you will.
All right, we're back for the final stretch of our deep dive into Finish What You Start.
Time to wrap things up.
We've covered so much. The 4 components, those sneaky inhibiting tactics, motivation, systems, even those pitfalls that can trip us up.
It's been quite a journey.
But there's this one concept that keeps coming back to me.
Oh, Which one?
It's this idea of productive paranoia.
Ah, yes. That one really stuck with me too.
It sounds kind of intimidating at first,
Right.
but when you really think about it,
It makes a lot of sense.
it's like instead of just hoping for the best,
Yeah.
you're actively thinking about what could go wrong
Anticipating those obstacles.
and using that awareness to motivate yourself to take action, to have backup plans.
Hollins talks about how highly successful people use this tactic.
Oh, really? Like you?
Like Bill Gates.
Yeah.
They're always thinking about what could go wrong, and then they take steps to mitigate those risks.
It's not about being pessimistic
No.
or dwelling on the negative.
It's about being prepared.
And so it's like you're not letting fear paralyze you.
Right.
You're using it as fuel to be proactive and strategic.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of your goals.
Yeah.
And recognizing that there will be bumps in the road.
You know, this whole productive paranoia thing really challenges that advice.
What advice?
To just stay positive, focus on the good.
Yeah.
It's not about ignoring potential problems. It's about acknowledging them
Right?
and then taking steps to address them head on.
Be realistic, not naive.
Exactly. Proactive, not reactive. So here's a question for you, dear listener.
Okay. Hit us with it.
How could you apply this concept of productive paranoia to your own life?
That's a good one to ponder.
What are some potential obstacles you might encounter as you pursue your goals?
Think about it. What could trip you up?
And what steps could you take, NW, to mitigate those risks?
It's a powerful shift in perspective. From hoping for the best
To preparing for the unexpected.
taking control of your own destiny.
And that's what can make all the difference in actually finishing what you start
Moving beyond wishful thinking.
into strategic action.
I like it.
Well, I think we've reached the bottom of this deep dive.
We covered a lot.
We explored those core principles from finish what you start.
Focus, self-discipline, action, persistence.
We talked about those sneaky barriers, those psychological roadblocks,
Motivation, both external and internal.
the power of systems,
Those pesky pitfalls.
and strategies for overcoming them.
We really dug deep.
But remember, this is just a starting point. There's so much more to discover in the book itself.
If you want to learn more,
If this deep dive has sparked your curiosity,
I highly recommend checking out Finish What You Start.
by Peter Hollins.
It's a game changer.
And remember, dear listener, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
So true.
What are you waiting for? Until next time, keep diving.